Now, as I was saying before, the phone ran out of, camera minutes, right? If you understand, right? Anyway, the female is not yet adored, meaning she got pregnant by Solomon, right? Who's her husband, right? And she's part of his harem, though, right? Now, so what she's doing is bitching, right? In other words, complaining that he's not there with her now, right? They done consummated the marriage, in other words. He's done hugged her, he's done made love to her, blah, 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 blah. And she's missing him, right? She's alone now, right? She's by herself, right? And she's remembering when he embraced her and kissed her and played with her door a little. And she was sitting in his shadow, sucking his dick. We'll say it that way today. Let's be blunt, right? His fruit was sweet to her taste of her mouth and as deep as her palate, right? Some say. That's describing something. The male is considered the one with the fruit, by the way. And he plants his seed into the door, or the earth, or the female. Metaphor. Now either tell the whole truth or lie completely about it, but what you're doing now is worse. What you're doing is really just confusing each other. You're not helping each other, right? Not the Christians or the Muslims or the Jews, right? You're just out there in la la land, right? Doing your own thing. Acting self-righteous towards another and like, my righteousness is better than your righteousness. I make my women wear burqas so they don't get raped. That's not what it's about either. Adam and Eve were naked in Eden and not ashamed, right? The sex and the type of sex it was is what caused Adam the shame. When Satan fed him his fruit in the butthole. Think about it, man. And you're doing the same sin, gay people, but it's not the sex that's the sin. It's that Adam probably wanted to say no, but he wasn't letting. And it became a rape type situation for Adam too. Now, he more beguiled and seduced Eve, yeah, but it's still rape, right? Even if it's a little consensual rape, you know what I mean, right? Now, what's the difference? 37 ain't 18 anyway, asshole. The girl didn't say she was 18, right? She said 37. I can have sex with a 37-year-old in the bathroom if she wants. That's the whole point, idiot. Now, excuse my French for using the D-I-C-K word. Even though that's a name too, a shortened form of Richard. But because of Richard Nixon, it also became a phallic word for the penis, right? When they're calling him Tricky Dicky. And this is no insult to Dick Van Dyke. He's probably a good dick, right? Both ways. We all got one. Call it something anyway. Not our uncomely parts. As Paul did. You don't even know what he's referring to, huh? Right? What do you think he's referring to? The penis and the vagina, idiot, right? But it's what we call it today. In the Hebrew, there's no word for the penis except to call it the fruit of the male. Or the seed shooter, right? Or your seed of copulation is what comes out of it. Like in Leviticus when it's talking about masturbation or sleeping with a woman, right? The two ways it can come out is masturbation or sleeping with a woman, right? By yourself or with a woman, right? Never, and it frowned on sex with a man, right? Real big. Right. Why? One is reproductive, one is just pleasure, I guess. I don't know, whatever did it. But, some of you have Only you know, and I'm not asking. I never did either or. I didn't penetrate or put it up my butt. I don't know. And even if someone tried to start, I would knock them off, right? If I'm asleep, right? Because I'm asleep. And if I'm rubbing against you in the night, I'm having a wet dream, right? Not about you. There's 2 beautiful girls in the room. Or I saw a beautiful girl earlier that day. It's not about you. My body is reacting to a pretty girl I couldn't be with when I'm in the bed. Mm-hmm. It's called a wet dream. I don't even remember the dream, right? But I remember a few, and they are about women. Not men, not men. If it's about men, like I said, I hugged Keanu Reeves and we were both in a black outfit or something. Something like that. Nothing personal, right? But a hug. Brothers and brothers. A brotherly hug, right? That's it. And, even though he was in a role where he played someone gay, God. Supposed to be acting, fool. But I heard he got married recently from the magazines, but that was last year or something. But you congratulate him, idiot. What do you do about it? Nothing. It's his life to lead, right? Not yours, not yours. But coincidentally, whether they know it or not, someone is the real chosen one by this time, right? They're called the 2 witnesses, by the way. In Revelations, right? And you can't pick them. They done been picked, right? Probably. That's the problem, too, right? And if carnal men get involved, and I'm looking for my wife, you're interfering with my marriage, right? Yes, you are, you know. Holding your doctrine more important than the truth, right? And you're just as bad as the unbeliever if you do that. You're just as lukewarm as they were before they wrote the book of Revelation too, right? All the book of Revelation was to clarify some details, right? It wasn't to really change anything. John thought you had all you needed, right? By what he left behind and what the other stuff behind, right? But he didn't see 2,000 years into the future, right? What we would actually be dealing with by now, right? Exactly. Right. Mm-hmm. What we'd actually know or not know, be doing or not doing, right? But in general, you know, but you don't know what you need to say or need to talk about specifically. And not everything Jesus did was written in the book, right? Mm-hmm. Some things were left out, right? Intentionally or unintentionally, right? If Jesus was married is one of those issues we're arguing about today because we didn't know what the wedding king is and all that, right? We don't know if he was invited to his own wedding like Samson when he said to his parents, get this woman to wife for me, right? Mm-hmm. Or again, right, vice versa, your parents arranged your marriages in the first century, right? You didn't get married in your home, but somewhere apart, and then you and your wife moved into your home together, right? Do you understand, right? It's a different concept of marriage than we have today, right? And he didn't know that you wouldn't realize that was about his marriage in Canaan, right? He didn't know he needed to tell you Jesus was the bridegroom, right? Who the governor went to and said that was the best wine he ever had, but he's also who do it with water, right? And what can you do about it? That's all that was left. There was no more wine, right? What you gonna do? Serve them dye that looks like grape juice? The only dye that would do that was the purple dye that they made some of their outfits out of, and that would kill you. Or taste bad. Now, here's the point I made before. Mm-hmm. If you put dye to make the water look like wine and you only have water left and you drink that shit, it's going to taste bad. But if you leave it as water and serve it to the governor and that's been done to him in the past, he's going to think that's the best wine he ever had. Mm-hmm. After the feast is when they serve the crappy wine, right? Mixing it with dye to make it look like what? Wine, right? You see what I mean, right? You're reading the story, but you're not getting the gist. You're not listening to the whole thing, right? Like with the Song of Solomon, right? You're hearing part of it. But why does the Bible tell you can't dress up in drag, RuPaul? Because you're a man, right? And she a woman, right? That's all. That's kind of the gist. It don't mean you can't, right? You can buy women's clothes and put them on and probably be prettier than a woman. Some of you are. I mean, I get it. I'm one of you. Anyway. They thought I was a little girl, too. Go figure. I don't know. See, when you're caught up in the moment, right? And there's some kind of sparks flying between me and Sheena. She didn't call me a she, nor did I call her a her. I just called her Sheena, right? Hey, baby, you use different, what's the word, pronouns? When you're first meeting someone, right? I didn't trick you, but did you trick me? Did you think I was a girl and I was a guy? I had that happen before. Some of us are pretty guys. Go figure the eyes of it. And you don't hardly see a wrinkle at 53. Come on, that's good genes. And the hair's going out like woodwork. Right. It's growing longer now. Than it did with my book in 2011. And I showed you that too, right? See? And that was 11 years ago, right? Why do you think? What do you think? Trust in God? Believe faith? He's androgynous, so I look a little androgynous myself? I don't know. But it don't bother me, right? I ain't got to dress up like a woman to know if Jesus is androgynous, that I am male and female too by my mom and dad, right? See, what the drag queens are doing, right, is trying to be a woman in a way, and they're not totally wrong, right? In that, right, your female is your other side, right? But what you're not understanding is you're supposed to let her really rejoin with you, or you're male and female, and then you're trying to be female without the female being in you fully, right? And then you're doing something different, but it's just a work, right? But you're not to be judged by your works and the condemnation, right? But you can be judged by others who read the book of Moses the wrong way, right? Do you understand? They're reading it the wrong way. They're judging you when they're not supposed to judge you, which is what Jesus is trying to bring out in the new, right? Wearing clothing don't make you good or bad. It's how you are when you're out the clothing too. Now, you've seen RuPaul wearing kind of flashy pants and all that, and a suit and things like that. Now, you gotta pay to get the RuPaul on TV. He said that too, right? If you ain't paying for it, he's gonna dress kind of regular, right? But that's all right. That's his choice. And he's not trying to hurt you. Some of your sons are treated as if they're girls. And some of your girls are treated as if they're boys in school. You don't know about it because they don't know how to tell you either. Communication breakdown. It's always the same, right? That's the problem with me and Sheena, too. She didn't communicate whatever the hell was going on in her head when we met, right? I don't know either. What happened? Now, I did talk about getting her pregnant, right? I did talk about the dream being one of the witnesses, and I did send her Bible studies from Davis's church, right? And I did offer her to get married, right? Which is what Bible says you're supposed to do if you have premarital sex. Oh, same girl. Now look at this crap. They got her sitting on the damn toilet. Almost kind of naked. See? That's bad. What you doing, girl? You can't come up with no new material? We can't tell if you got underwear on or not. Why you doing that, girl? Are you so desperate for new copyrighted material? You have to do that? To come up with something different? What's going on? Now, I'm just trying to be your conscience because you don't seem to have one. But I'm not condemning you, right? You're dancing on the toilet. I did that before myself. I even exercised on the toilet before. Right. I don't mean masturbation, I mean exercising. What are you doing? What are you doing? But now I can critique you, girl, on the fair use. On the fair use. What you doing? Are you the one bitching to me about being on the toilet? Was that you? You still in my copyright then. I was on the toilet first. Dang. Right? Everybody uses the toilet now, though. Girls and guys. And she's called K-Play. You know that ain't her real name. Okay. Well, let's see where we're at on the minutes. It also tells me how many minutes I got left. It's about 20-something. So it's like, So then I gotta let it upload, right? Miss Trainer. Louis Vuitton. Whatever. Made you look. She made you look. I don't know. Well, whatever. Well, like I said, I don't find any woman who's not unattractive, right?